Okay, so when we begin the initial editing, you're going to actually start out something more like this, and you're going to want to first cut to where you think things start to begin. From there, you really want to start looking at your audio. What do you have? In this case, I know that's an ambient track. That's a decent ambient track. That's a little punchier. So if I kind of play tracks against each other. So if I have two ambient tracks and one sounds a little bit punchier and I like that, now this track here has nothing on it. So, I don't need to keep that. This is not as good. This is punchier. I like that. So that would be my ambient track right now. It's like I promote the ambient track that's the best. I don't use multiple ambient tracks unless I really have to, but in a wedding, that's almost never. So now I'm comparing this one and this one. And I can tell this one sounds... I think the first one sounds a little better. And go with your gut. We could debate it, but I'm going to do a lot of EQing on them anyways. So I will just instantly delete that one. And basically, I can tell that one's a little distorted, so I don't like that one. And that's good. Now I start to get into my my ambient tracks, so I can start to tell that one is clipping a little bit, and this is another backup. So now I can start to listen. Which one's better? That definitely has like a sound to it, like a post EQ, or something's going on there, right? Obviously, that sounds pretty clear, right? So to me, those are my tracks. That's the initial edit. That's where you kind of begin to get your best stuff. You don't do that after. Don't wait. You think you do audio separate, or the idea is, wait for audio finishing at the end. This is not that. This is picking the tracks, and I don't want to edit 15 tracks every time. I'm going to be very slow if I do that. Here, I got 2. That's fine. I can work with that. And now I can really start to go through. You notice that the editing is more responsive because it doesn't have to process all those clips at once. You can move through the thing rather fast. I can start to edit. So, if there's a big gap in the ceremony, I could let's say cut if I wanted to. A lot easier to do like this. One thing to mention, if you do use my shortcuts, is if you have just one selected and you press semicolon, it's just going to cut that one, which can be very useful. Or, if you're trying to cut everything, it's not useful. So if you make sure nothing's selected, you can cut the entire thing at once, and you can tops and tails everything. I don't know what I did there, but so let's say I was cutting there. Now I start to look individually at what are my clips. This one is not such a good thing, but it's got some good moments. So if I know that this one track is only going to be good for for certain moments, well, I will actually cut those in separately. I'll just look through there and say, hey, that's a really good shot. The rest is not. Well, I might be looking at a dozen from there, if that. So these are good. When he turns the corner, that's really good. But then the rest aren't that good. So I can just cut those down fast, and I don't have to worry. But I notice right here, when they start to walk, that's an area where they actually start to work. But what I'm really looking for is this. This is my main shot. And you can tell they walk in. This is my main walk-in shot. So you have this shot. And then you can see, if I turn this off, that's my wide. So it might be that from here I go into I'm going to go into either my wide or my other shot. We just have to kind of look and find out where, that clip goes. And it might be that they don't have the shot, in which case it's kind of like you'd almost want to stay on this and then in a way kind of like maybe cut there, because there's going to be a point when they start to get onto the stage, and if they're on the dance floor, then you don't have to worry. So that's kind of how I do my initial edit. I start to really look at the big picture of the video and the audio before I start to really get down into it. If you were to just start and say, okay, I'm going to start editing and I'm going to go through I'm going to start with this and start looking through every single layer at every single time, it's going to be very difficult. I'd even recommend kind of moving this up here. Once I know that I have these like kind of these specialty shots here, then to me, I don't need this to be the main clip anymore. Since I know this isn't going to be used for anything, I can even delete it. I have got my my kind of specialty shots there, and I can just kind of keep them up there. And I have this here. This would be my main, well, not this one, but I believe it's this one is my main shot. So if I was to go to that, I would also want to make sure that I kind of keep them on the same line. But if I move on 67 up, I'd move all of 67 up and not just leave it there. So if that's my main camera, I'm probably going to want that to be my main shot I work from, and then work on fallback. So if I notice here, people are coming in, and once I get past this section, so I would cut, right, and then I cut into, okay, here they kind of start to arrive. Then I cut that. In fact, I won't even use I would use my cutting tool, and I go into there, and then I continue. And again, here's a way where the tops and tails method, the reason why I have to have a selection, so I can actually select, actually I gotta have my 5 on. But if I have that selected, right, I can go in there, and if it's my top one, then all I have to do is if I make sure that I just turn everything else off, then I can just select. Actually, I have to turn on my audio too. But if you're doing a big thing like a ceremony or reception, and you have a half an hour to go through, well, it makes a lot of sense to kind of do it this way. Then I can kind of cut. I can cut here, and I'm seeing, again, now I don't have to use the mouse for quite a while. And you can see kind of people are starting to stand, and that's cool. They knock over the chair, which is also something I like. So I cut that. I'm going to be able to delete that. So then you kind of see them, and then we'll find a spot where they also kind of cut in. You can see that there they do. So I would select these again now. I would have had a lot more to cut there, so it would have made sense to do it in a normal situation. So maybe that's kind of where I get a shot of them. And then, so I'm waiting, because this is kind of a while until they get, actually not. So they would probably be, so they're here. So if I, it's something. I mean, I don't know if I like that zoom out, so I probably fix it. I might start it right there, something like that. And if I still didn't like, I'm going to use the roll, just to make sure that those were connected shots, because that 102 I'm pretty sure was, but it's better just to be safe. So I can kind of have a nice seamless cut into there. And it looked like he moved a little bit there. So let's say the shot didn't work out. See, he started to move there. So I definitely would cut here, but let's say he moved right here, and that's fine, because what I can do is if I just select this, and I'm gonna turn the other tracks back on, but I could also have my wide. So I know my wide's there. I can go back to it. That's kind of your fallback. So there's a lot of options you have if you need to, and that's kind of the beginning of the initial edit.